Hi, Assalamualaikum to Madam Salwan and my classmate. Today, me and my partner, which is Umul Aminah, we're gonna present about Manglish and Standard British English. So I'm gonna talk about Manglish. So what is Manglish? Manglish basically is an explanation of Malay English. It is an informal dialect of Malaysian English that is mostly spoken in Malaysia. It has element of an English-based Creole. And the primary language of the nation, which is Tamil, Chinese, Malay, have a strong influence on it. However, Manglish is not one of the Malaysia recognized language, although it was used mostly spoken in Malaysia, but it's still not recognized in Malaysia. So we're moving on to the history of Manglish. So the term Manglish actually was first recorded in 1989, and then it got evolved to Malish and Malaylish in 1992. However, in 1994, they changed it to Malanglish, and then in 1997, they changed it to Manglish. And in 2001, they decided to change it again to Malayglish. And last but not least, in 2013, they changed to Manglish. However, in the last stage of changing the name, and in the end, they settled with the Manglish. So we're going moving on to the features of Manglish. So the usage of the Manglish, we have a sentence final particles. So what is sentence final particles? Sentence final particles is basically some particles that add into the end of the words. Something like lah, loh, and leh. So what all of this function? Basically added to the end of any emotional nature sentences. As an example, take care David, let's go drink. Hey, is that your office? Like that, something like that. It doesn't mean that it shows so much emotion into their thought. The second example is lah. It used to make requests more firm or gentle depending on the tone. If the firm one, we're gonna be like, take that one lah, like that. Is more firm, while gentle, it will like, I don't know lah, something like that. It's more gentle for the speakers and the listener to understand their tone. Law, basically exclaiming that something is obvious, similar to English dah. English dah, yeah. The example of the using of the word law, basically something like, I know you want that law, something like that. Or maybe, I know lah, the chicken rice pretty nice law, something like that. And then leh is basically they have like two meaning. The first meaning is indicate a speaker is surprised by what they are saying. And as an example, this does taste like chicken leh. And another meaning is indicate that a speaker is uncertain about what they are saying. As an example, you really want to go and play badminton. I haven't played in years leh. That means the speaker is uncertain with the things that they want to say. Moving on to the second features of Manglish, which is vocabulary and spelling. They have actually a borrowed word from Hokkien, Malay, and many more. And one of the example is paise, which is a borrowed word from Hokkien, which is mean embarrass, commonly used as sorry. And another example from Hokkien borrowed words, but this one is English, including English borrowed words, is aboden. Aboden is, the meaning is what else then. Yeah, usually this word the waiter and the waitress will use. And another example of words that borrowed word from Malay is abang, bang. Yeah, this one usually you can hear all anywhere. The meaning of the abang or bang, sorry, is bro. Yeah. Moving on to the third features of Manglish, which is pronunciation and accent. The first one is final R drop. Like Singaporean and British English, Manglish frequently omits the word last consonant R. The pronunciation of water and player, for instance, is water and player. And the second one is pronunciation of long vowels. Pronouncing long vowels like A and E, similar to V and E, is a common practice among Manglish speakers. Father is pronounced as father instead of father as a result. Number 3, reduction of diphthong. Words like later frequently have diphthong like E reduced to making the word letter instead of later. Yeah. Number 4 is vowel sounds. Manglish frequently make vowel sounds simpler. For instance, true could be heard as true instead of true, and about as about rather than about. Number 5 is consonant sound. Pronouncing some consonant differently can be used by Manglish. For example, thing could be pronounced as thing rather than thing. This as this rather than this. Last example for vocabulary is about final consonant, which is, as previously noted, these consonants are frequently left off. For instance, don't stand for don't, fact for fact, and adapt for adapt. Okay, that's all for vocabulary. Moving on to the cultural context. We have 4 examples of cultural context, which is multilingual influence, syntax and idiom, variation across region, and cultural identity. For multilingual influence, Manglish is a mix of English and various other languages, including Malay, Chinese language, and to a lesser extent, other European language and Arabic. This blend of language is a direct reflection of Malaysia's multicultural heritage, where different ethnic groups have contributed to the country's linguistic landscape. Number 2 is the syntax and idiom. The syntax of Manglish often resembles southern varieties of Chinese, reflecting the influence of Chinese language on the language. Idiom, proverbs, and phrases are also translated directly from Malay, Chinese, and Tamil into English, further enriching the language with cultural nuance. Number 4, variation across region. There are variations in Manglish across different regions of Malaysia, with East Coast version, which is Kelantan and Terengganu, differing significantly from those of West Coast Malaysian speakers. This regional variation is a testament to the diversity within Malaysia and the influence of a local dialect on Manglish. Number 4 is cultural identity. The use of Manglish is seen as a reflection of Malaysians' distinct worldview and cultural identity. It distinguishes Malaysians from other locations and makes them unique in their own way. The language represents Malaysia move toward modernization and globalization, without abandoning its own character, making it an essential component of who Malaysians are as a people. And moving on to the conclusion, Manglish, basically a Creole dialect in Malaysia, is characterized by its special mix of English, Malay, Chinese, and other dialects, making it troublesome for non-native to get it. It could be a topic from in the language where the semantic relationship between the subject and command isn't as important as in standard English, and various parts of discourse can serve as the subject. This comes about in constructions that will appear to need a subject to a speaker of standard English, with the exclusion of the subject when the setting is obvious or shared between clauses. Manglish is predominant in day-by-day discussion among Malaysians, who may speak their local dialect easily but select to use Manglish. The term Manglish alludes to the English talked by Malayalam speaker from Kerala, India, with a Malayalam complement, and it is utilized within the setting of an interactive cartoon highlight within the Mainichi Everyday News, Japan major English language online daily paper. In spite of its special characteristic, Manglish faced feedback for its effect of the dominance of English among Malaysians, with call for a change within the instruction framework to progress English capability. And that's all from me. Moving on to my partner, which is Aminah. Thank you, everyone.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Aminah and I will continue the presentation with my part which is about Standard British English. So, what is Standard British English? British English refers to the varieties of the English language spoken and written in Great Britain, especially in England. It is a fascinating linguistic tapestry shaped by centuries of history, regional diversity, and cultural influence. The term British carries inherent ambiguities and tensions, leading to diverse interpretations. The term can be applied in two different contexts, which is more widely or narrowly, within a range of ambiguity and blurring. The term can characterize the significant degree of uniformity in written English within the UK, but it is more challenging to apply a unified definition to spoken English. So next, we will see the history of British English. British English is a native language variation in Great Britain, originated in the 5th and 7th centuries AD from Germanic tribes. The Anglo-Saxons ruled southern Great Britain, using Old English as their language. Anglo-Norman briefly replaced Old English as the aristocracy language after the Norman conquest in 166. The spoken form of English differs more in the UK, but written English maintained a consistent level of consistency. The influence of English in the European Union is similar to former British colonies and Commonwealth nations. So next we will see the features. So the first feature that we will talking about is about the usage of British English. British English and Manglish are distinct forms of English with unique characteristics and usage. British English is the standard form spoken in the UK, used by the British government, BBC and Malaysian schools. It has unique grammatical characteristics such as the use of the present perfect and collective nouns. British English also has a different vocabulary, with adjectives like little and wee being more common in certain regions. So next, we will see the next feature which include vocabulary and spelling. So, for vocabulary, British English has a diverse vocabulary with terms like boot referring to car storage, biscuits to sweet baked food, and flat referring to an apartment. So the next is about spelling. British English spelling has unique features including the use of "u" in words like colour, flavour, honour, labour, and the next word is "s", which is instead of "z", and "e" in words like again, again. So the second last we were talking about is about pronunciation and accent. British English pronunciation is based on the received pronunciation which is called in the short form RP. The standard accent. RP English has a diverse set of pure vowel sounds and is not rhotic. Omitting the word "r" sound at the end of word, it also implies non-rising intonation and falling pitch towards the end of speech. To sound like a British person, there are a few tips. Use long vowels for the A words, drop most R sounds, pronounce T sound as T, and use linking R sounds. The British accent varies across regions, with around 40 regional accents. such as the RP in London and South East England and the Gorgie accent in Tyneside or Newcastle. So, the next is about cultural context. Martin Rose explains that British English is rooted in the UK's rich history and diverse population, reflecting the influence of the British Empire. It is associated with formality, politeness, and indirectness, and its idioms and phrases often have historical or cultural significance. For an example, "keep a stiff upper lip" reflects British stoicism. So, for the conclusion, British English is a formal standard English language that can be taught in other countries and is easily understood. Its characteristics reveal its usage to different languages. Manglish, a colloquial language reflecting Malaysia's global society, contrasts within British English, which has roots in the formality and history of the United Kingdom. Both languages effectively convey the ideals and realities of their respective civilizations, highlighting the importance of understanding cultural context while learning language. So that's from our group. Thank you.